We are going to move into the second panel discussion for today. The topic and the theme for this discussion is from talk to action. I know many of the times we've heard things like talk is cheap, so I think this panel discussion is going to help us come out of talk is cheap and see the actions of the words that come out of our mouth. From talk to action, how to co-create, co-lead, co-deliver impactful outcomes with collaboration. So very quickly, I'm just going to welcome the panel, and as they come up, please give them a round of applause. It's not easy to come here, so let's just celebrate them as we call them up one by one, and then from there, the session will take place. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to first welcome to the front the co-founder of TechQuest. You might have seen her in a number of establishments. I think she was, it would have been Rwanda some time ago, but she's a powerhouse. I personally find her to be a mentor. Can we please welcome to the front Dr. Itoro Emembolu?
Ladies and gentlemen, we can do better. Can we please clap for a very esteemed doctor, please?
And then we've got Lagos State Management for SMEDAN, Dr. Bunmi Kole-Dawodu. I hope I pronounced that right. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you.
In South Africa, we don't have this thing, so can I have it and take it home? Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, also we have the managing partner 234 Finance, Ezinne Nwazulu.
Let's give her a round of applause.
If you're a beautiful woman, can you please clap for one? Thank you very much. Elegantly dressed. Come on, can you please clap for her one more time?
So the inside story is that Ezinne and I had a conversation before we came here, and we told ourselves that we're both going to dress in white today. That's why we're matching.
Oh, yeah.
And then lastly, we've got the founder of Premier Hub, Ibukun Obe. Can we please welcome him to the front as he comes forth?
Ibukun, come on. All the gentlemen, can you please clap for our delegate upstage? Thank you very much.
Again, the topic for this panel discussion is from talk to action. How to co-create, how to co-lead, how to co-deliver impactful outcomes with collaborations. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, all of them are looking good. If you agree with us, can you please put your hands together for them?
And then also, in terms of when we talk about co-leadership, we're also talking about strengths, complementarity of strengths. So you're looking at each other's strength, amplifying each other's strengths. You come together to either do a business or to work together. Each person comes with their individual strengths, and then by working together, you co-create, and there's an additional strength that comes from that co-creation, and then it amplifies or enhances the individual strength. So those are like three main things that when you have that co-creation and co-leadership happening. So those are like three things that I would like to talk about. Then the last thing, I think one other thing that kind of like covers it all is mutual and continuous communication. So if you are working with someone and you're both leading, there is that need to continually communicate. People have different ideas, people have different ways of doing things. So but by continuously communicating what you're trying to do, your fellow leader or the person you're working with understands where you are going to. It still aligns, goes back to that aligned vision. So that way you have shared vision going the same way. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm still on you with Dr. Itoro. So how do you now, what do you think about organizations now sharing leadership goals together for accountability's sake, right? I mean, you are co-creating with another organization, but I mean, you need to balance it. How do you balance that shared leadership with another organization? It sounds difficult, right? Because most people will say, no, I mean, we have a culture in my organization. This is what we do. So how do you balance that shared leadership?
Thank you. I think the first thing would be clear responsibilities and goals. Like, what is each person supposed to do? who makes the decisions. A lot of times when it comes to co-leadership, there has to be inclusivity or in decision making. You have to carry your partner along, but at the same time, there has to be clear responsibilities on who is doing what, who is making the decisions, who is implementing. And so while it is, while we have shared goals and shared governance in terms of how it's going to run, looking at the structure, it has to be co-created. So having that, but having clear visions or clear roles and responsibilities is very important. So even though there will be clear roles and responsibilities, it doesn't mean that the structure will be vague, but having those clear roles kind of makes everyone know where they are supposed to do and what they are supposed to do. And then clear targets. In terms of the collaboration, you have a clear vision of what you want to achieve. So having clear deliverables on what that is supposed to be, it will now create accountability for each party that you can both collectively track or individually deliver.
Thank you so much. Please let's put our hands together for Dr. Itoro. I think that's, that underscores most of the challenges that we might have with partnership issues, because leadership is a big task, isn't it? So going to you now, Ezinne. So co-creation and innovation. Co-creation and innovation. It's a huge topic, right? It's a very big one. But I would like to ask, what are the key factors that make co-creation successful on one hand? And then on another hand, how can you share examples of partnership that have driven significant businesses or industry transformation? I mean, it's a two-in-one question.
Okay.
And so the audience will want to hear from you.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Okay. So I'm happy to be here, and
Maybe
I'll try to answer both questions to the best of my ability. So the first one is how to make it work, right?
Exactly.
Partnerships. So personally, I'm very big on collaboration. It's one of our 5 core values at 234 Finance. And I'll touch on 4 points that I think are very important for partnership to work. So the first one is there has to be the willingness and the desire to collaborate. I mean, we use collaboration, strategic partnerships as a buzzword, but is there a willingness to collaborate? That's the very first step, right? And what are you collaborating towards? What is the alignment? And I'll use an example, a personal example of a project that I embarked on last year, the SME Bootcamp. And so at 234 Finance, we support African entrepreneurship. We have several programs that we run, majorly in Lagos, and we decided for the first time to do something in the Southeast. And I'm a Southeasterner, so I thought, okay, this is something that will just be easy. I'm Igbo, it will be easy to connect to the audience. And the first time out that we're trying to do this, it was a disaster because, first of all, they didn't know anything about 234 Finance. You know, we're trying to appeal to them, and it just was not working. And what did we do? We reached out to Voice of the East. It's a strong media platform that, you know, is based in the Southeast. And we reached out to them and were like, hey, can we do this together? I don't mind, you know, you can drive it, and if the audience are responsive to you, like, we don't even care how, you know, you're going to push it. And it was very last minute. It was very spontaneous, but there was that alignment towards, you know, empowerment, even though it was what they're doing is from a different context, but we collaborated on it, and it was a successful project that we had in Enugu. So there was that willingness to collaborate. It wasn't about, you know, dragging power or anything, and, you know, I was working with the CEO towards delivering this program. So that is one. Secondly, connectivity. I think that is a very critical, especially in the age that we're in. Digital connectivity is key. There are remote jobs, there are remote opportunities. There are just things that are happening without being in a physical space with someone. So if we're able to have more connectivity in remote parts, I think that would foster collaboration and opportunities. And even for, you know, platforms that are not in Nigeria but want to support this ecosystem and support the work that accelerators are doing to enable the ecosystem, I think that is something that is key. Thirdly, I would say the ecosystem collaboration coming together, having a supportive ecosystem, because for collaboration to happen, it's not just any one person that is driving, it's people coming together and establishing a common goal and a common interest. And there's so many stakeholders that make this happen, from the private sector to the NGOs to government institutions to even individuals. I think having that ecosystem support is very, very key to drive meaningful collaboration and impact. And what's the second question again?
Okay, so, the second question is about, sorry. The second question is about maybe you could share some examples. And I know you mentioned in one with the Voice of the East.
Yes.
And, so if you have some other examples that you could share to encourage the audience about, co-creation and innovation and how this has, successfully worked for you.
So I'll talk about this in the context of the big organizations collaborating with the smaller guys, right? I think is very key. So, and I'll give three examples plus a personal one. So I'll give the example of, what's the name of this company now? Of Kobo 360 and Olam, right? Coming together towards tackling logistic problems for moving supply chain problems and using technology to drive efficiency, right? And I think it's very important that the smaller guys, the bigger guys don't look at the smaller guys as a threat, but look at them as people, as companies that are nimble enough to drive what they're trying to do in the old-fashioned traditional method, and they're able to leverage technology to get things done in a more efficient way. Then the second example I would use is with the financial institutions, right? There's SME support, startup is a buzzword right now, but how are we collaborating with different people that play in this space? And we're not competing with them, we're not copying them, but we're looking at them as people that are creating value. Yes, you have the finance to drive a lot of these initiatives, but how do you support them, work with them, not bully them into it? And I don't want to go into that because it can be a bit, controversial and sensitive, but I think it's very important for bigger institutions to look at the smaller guys who are able to use very little resources, get a lot of traction, and see that as something that would be beneficial to them. And we're solving, critical challenges to scale the ecosystem. I'm speaking specifically to the SME and startup ecosystem. There was a saying that I read somewhere that Africa doesn't need more SMEs, but needs bigger companies and scalable ventures. And I think in these type of partnerships or collaborations, we'll be able to really scale industries.
Absolutely, and I love your examples. You've given that wide opportunities for bigger companies to absorb smaller companies, and in form of partnership, and how that can help scale small businesses. Thank you so much, Ezinne. Daniel, let me go to you. So I know that in your work you have so much experiences about co-creation and partnership. I want you to point out some challenges and what exactly you saw as a solution to those challenges, and if you have examples of where it had worked, you could share with us.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, can you hear me? One key thing that is a huge challenge for collaboration and co-creation is interest. Like Ezinne said, he said willingness to collaborate.
Right.
Most times, because people are always about their thing, it's difficult for people to really collaborate. And that's why, especially if you see when people want to build something together, when we want to co-create something, and people can't see how that connects to their downline, you see that they don't give all their best to that. So, but one thing we've done to make sure that collaboration happens is defining the vision clearly, so that everybody understands the role this act we want to do will play in everybody's life. For example, I run an innovation hub, and I remember exactly when we decided to form a network of hubs that led to ISN. It was just like friends gisting. We asked ourselves, if government wants to speak to us, who can go and represent us? Are we all going to go together to speak with the government? Okay? If we want to address a matter or a policy issue, what structure do we have to use and solve that problem? Now, it was from that discussion we've decided it's important for us to co-create an organization that bodies the effort we are making as individual hubs. Okay? It started like a WhatsApp group. Now, the first thing we need to understand is that collaboration doesn't need to be complicated. Collaboration needs to be open-minded. First, we started like a WhatsApp group. We called it Hub Owners Village. That's what could come into our mind. And we started adding people to that group. And, we started sharing vision. We started we said, okay, let's organize, let's incorporate. It was from incorporation, we now got a different name. And then we started sharing opportunities. For example, if I have an opportunity now, the first place I will share it is in ISN network. Why? Because there are other hubs doing the same thing I'm doing. If I don't get it, another person will get it. Okay? You see people collaborate at that level. And then by the time we have seen this, and we started ISN because we saw the successes of AfriLab Association of Hubs, okay, in Africa. Now, when we saw success in ISN, we also said, let's do the same thing in our subnational level. But the challenge also rises there because most times people think in terms of resources. They think in terms of the resources to share or the things to go for is limited. So they would rather go for it themselves than bring it for all. But without understanding that by the time you go as one, when you are united, that 2 fishes and 5 loaves will always feed 5,000 if you understand the secret. If you understand the secret of working together, you will expand everything you do. Now, I have learned co-creation because co-creation is one of the best way to ideate or innovate. Like, for example, I'm not so technical person. I don't write code, but I work in the technology space. Anytime I want to build anything, I must have a technical person in the room so that the person can bring a technical perspective. I must bring in a researcher in the room. I must bring in a product design person in the room so that because you cannot possibly build an all-inclusive product thinking from one side of the brain. So you need to bring in other people and don't bring people that will always say yes to you. There are some people that are perfect in working every time. I work in organizations where they say no to me and then they outvote me. I'm the boss, but they've outvoted me and then I lose the vote. I calm down and wait for them in the next one. So next time when I want to present something to my team, I will connect it to the vision because I know they are more loyal to the vision than they are to you. They want to see the vision. So that's one thing we must do if we must. So I've had experiences where certain people worked against an organization because it was not serving their personal interests. Okay? But how did I solve those problems? I meet those people and say, guy, this thing you are chasing is small. 1 will chase 1,000, 2 will chase 10,000. Do you understand that arithmetics? So if we go on this thing together, we'll achieve more. If, for example, Omniverse. Omniverse is a collaboration between different sets of people. There are certain people that are contributing to Omniverse without even saying what is in it for me. But because we want to build an ecosystem of ecosystems where people bring in their strength, bring in their all contribution to build something good for Africa, to build something good for us. So you see people commit to that. So the challenge will always be, let's deal with selfishness. Let's deal with personal interest. Let's think of the greater good of everyone, and then let's collaborate, okay? And then, if we also can trust ourselves and see genuineness of heart, then, like if I'm having a conversation with you, you want me to collaborate with me, but you're not showing any way that collaboration will better what you know that I'm about, not today, not in the future. Okay? For example, I work in the East. I have hubs in Aba, Onitsha, Asaba, Umuahia, okay? And most recently, Lagos and Owerri. Now, some people want to come to collaborate with you. They come from maybe outside of Nigeria, from the diaspora. They are talking to you as if you don't understand what you are doing. I'm coming to bring you value. And then they are talking to you with a portfolio in hand. They just want to come and implement and tick a box and go. They are not discussing with you the overriding interest. How do we grow this ecosystem so that this thing can be sustainable? And immediately I see that there is no sustainability in what you are proposing at every point in time. The first thing I would do is either I give you a bill or I walk away. Giving you a bill because I've seen that you want to come and taste and go. So if I notice that there is no sustainability, there is nothing building collaboration, continued collaboration on this, I charge as a transaction. But if I see your heart has an openness for collaboration and sustainability, I'll open up and then we can work together.
Thank you so much, Daniel. Please, let's give him a round of applause because he has shared secrets, with us, practical secrets, right, to, overcome those challenges. Because, those challenges are there, if you agree with me. A lot of people have backed out because of these challenges, but he has been able to, give us some secrets to overcome these challenges. Thank you so much, Daniel. Okay, so Ezinne wants to say something.
I wanted to touch on something Daniel said, and it's the importance of local, right? Can you hear me? No. So it's the importance of local context, right? And I was going to say it from the perspective of even foreign investors, but you can almost put the people in the diaspora in the same box as foreign investors as well. Yeah. Because if you don't have that local context and you're coming at it from a condescending place, like, okay, you guys don't know what you're doing, and you don't really calm down to understand the local context and the nuances, the unique nuances to be able to solve for those problems, then you're going to have a challenge. But if you're able to come at it, even though you're coming with capital or whatever, you have to also see the value that somebody that is not bringing capital but bringing local context and the know-how to go around some of those nuances, because it's so easy to get frustrated dealing with those challenges if you're not, working and in sync with people who are already doing that.
Thank you, Ezinne. Don't create the challenge before you even execute. That's awesome. So, Ibukun, you want to say something?
Oh, yes. To buttress what he said something about roles and responsibility in co-creation. I think it's very important. That's a very
Please speak up, so
So he said something about roles and responsibility in co-creation. It's very important. I think to back it up again, it's very important for you to have a framework agreement in place.
Yeah.
Because people respect agreement. Or else, I've seen it happen so many times. You have shared vision, you have shared mission, and it's not working, and people just walk away. And you've invested time, you've invested resources. So having a framework agreement in place and getting a lawyer, that makes a whole lot of difference.
Thank you so much, Ibukun. And so I just go to you straight, Ibukun. Collaboration and execution. What are the pitfalls in execution, right? Considering collaboration, what do you think are the pitfalls?
So for me, some of the pitfalls in collaboration is extremely very important. I think, to what Ezinne said, it's good for you to have complementary skills. It's extremely very important. So you can be very social, like you can be very strong in marketing. Another person might be more detailed person. Maybe someone can be in finance. Another person can be very strong in processes and systems. That can be in operation. So I think having strong multiple skills is extremely very important in collaboration. Some of the pitfalls coming out is not having that proper strategy, because at the end of the day, what do you really want to achieve in collaborating? What is the strategy? Are you looking at creating impact? Is it value, profit at the end of the day? So all these are very, very important terms as well too. Then for me, not having a well-defined selection process in the collaboration. How do you profile your partners is extremely very important. Are they people of credibility? Are they people of value? Do you just come? How do you go to the back end to profile this guy? Look, this guy is really going to bring the value. Then what are the selection process in doing that? Like I can give an example of what we've done in collaborating with my board. I mean, for example, when we sit down, I want to collaborate with a company. We go abroad, we go locally, we do background search in the person we really want to work with. That look, is this guy? So we have prior information about you. So those are very, very important as well too. Then the risks is extremely very important. In collaborating, I can remember there was a time a company came from the UK and wanted to come and collaborate with us in Nigeria, and they spoke all the grammar in this world, and we listened to them. Obviously, when the company now is in the UK, we bought data on this company, we look at their financials. This is a company that's just been open for about a year. So I think that risk profiling is extremely very important as well too. So complementary skills, risks, and what clear strategy do you have? So these are some of the pitfalls these guys have.
Okay, so thank you, Ibukun. But I'm just thinking, do you have a special strategy or plan on how to avoid these pitfalls before it comes? Because most business owners, hubs, won't envisage this. You just want to strike a deal and then you want to make money, right? But you're not looking at that pitfall. And so when that comes, it becomes something that maybe you need to retract or you need to re-strategize. But ahead of time, how do you avoid this?
Okay, so I think I will focus more on two parts. Like for us collaboration employees, obviously within the employees, obviously we have a guiding framework that dictates a guiding framework or guiding principle on how we work internally, code of conduct, you know. Then at the board level as well too, we have a management structure framework on how to do it. So there are set criteria that we actually use in profiling these companies, like, okay, who are these companies? How long have they been in business? There are certain questions we need to ask yourself. How long have they been in business? Which company have they worked for? What are their financials? Who are the people running this company? What are their profiles? Where have they worked before? You know, there are certain variables that we use. Those are the kind of, that kind of framework that helps us to and we just don't, we measure them as well too. So we have this current algorithm. We profile them. We can say, okay, you know what, 70%. If anybody's not attaining 70%, we're not going to work with that person. So we do our own internal profiling. If you score above 70%, you're fine. Below 70%, that means there's a risk profile of 0. And yeah.
Thank you so much. And I wanted to ask you a last question, but you just answered that question. Stakeholders, how do you how do partners measure impacts, in this? You just mentioned it, and I think that's awesome. So Dr. Itoro, you want to say something?
Yes, just to add to that, in terms of the KPIs that you mentioned, I think it's also very important to put milestones. So like to review what you've done together. So if you put milestones from the beginning, so you have to, don't do it in hindsight. You kind of like have to do it while you are conceiving the partnership. So if you put those milestones there, you have opportunities to make checks. Is it working? And how can you make it better? Or is it that the collaboration isn't working? And then you're able to now discuss it or see if it's better. The collaboration doesn't happen, but then it's amicable, and then you're able to like look into that. But putting those measures there, where sometimes they do it, you put it maybe like a 3 months, a 6 months, a 1 year. It helps you to it helps the partnership to become stronger, where you are able to review what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses, how can we address them. So those milestones I think are very important.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. So in 1 minute, 1 minute each. Starting with you, Daniel. So all this nugget put together, what's your advice to small businesses?
Okay, my advice to small businesses, institutions, and organizations: don't run away from collaboration. Sometimes it might be challenging, especially when, the examples you gave were where you have option. There are collaborations you don't have an option. Absolutely. Like for example, if I announce a collaboration, I say I want hardware innovators in this city to come together. You will bring the Tom, Dick, and Harry. You can't select them. You inherited them. So what we need to do is to understand the secret of co-leading. Now, co-leading means I know this decision is right, but I won't make this decision alone. I want to bring in other people, okay? One of the secrets that have helped me is that each of the organizations I've started, I've always started with a co-founder.
Right.
You understand? So, because I've built my muscle in the fight of co-founders, so I know that sometimes they might mean well, but it's not coming out well. So you stay from the point that they mean well and start taking action. But if you try and try, it's not working. You need your mental state correct.
Absolutely.
You walk away. And the truth is that collaboration is a willing thing. If I try, I make effort, you are not collaborating, I call you out and then walk away. And then so that you know the reason I'm walking away. We can still remain friends, but with respect to collaboration, we can't do this thing. And then we also need to know the difference between collaboration and partnership.
Absolutely.
It's not every collaboration that should lead to a partnership. There are some collaboration that will end there as collaboration. Then there are some collaborations that can now graduate into partnership. Then you now start thinking in terms of legal documents, defining roles and responsibility. Don't do co-founding without defining the role of each of the co-founder. Then, if you are co-founding a business together, make sure that the business hires the co-founders with their roles defined.
Absolutely.
And then also state the terms of the solution. What happens when this does not work again? Clearly state the terms. Talk to a lawyer if your collaboration wants to move to partnership and into formation of an organization. Thank you. God
so
bless
much.
you.
Thank you so much, Daniel. Ezinne, out of Omniverse now, 1 minute, what do we expect? Impact of collaboration or co-creation? What's the expectation? We just want people to come for 4 days and then you go away.
So
in 1 minute, please.
Okay, I'll leave you with 3 things. So the first is play to your strengths, right? If you're able to play to your strengths and you see that there are gaps that you have, then you focus on those collaborations that fill those gaps, right? And when you're able to do that, you're able to have more meaningful impact. That is one. Then secondly, you need to increase the pie, right? I find that a lot of us, especially in this region, we have a scarcity mindset. And when you have a scarcity mindset, you're always scared of competition as opposed to collaboration, right? So why don't you change your mindset and look at people that you're looking at as your competition as people you can collaborate with and chase bigger things together. And the third thing is the sky's the limit, right? Once you're able to come together, collaborate, and build scalable, really scalable ventures, then the sky's the limit. And, in a digital world, there are just so many opportunities that you can tap into. And leveraging on people that you can co-create, collaborate with, that would, help you get even bigger, projects.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ezinne. Itoro, 1 minute, please. Just wrap it up.
Okay. What I would just say is be visible. We are here at the Omniverse. I would like to ask that everybody here tell people what you do. You will not be able to collaborate if people don't know what you are doing. They would reach out to you, reach out to them, but be visible. Don't leave this place today. Don't leave the Omniverse event, this summit, without telling at least, maybe every day, tell at least 5 or 6 people what you do. Actually tell them what you do, what are your strengths, and if you need help, what kind of help you need. Because sometimes we meet people that have opportunities. They are not going to use them, but they know people that can solve some of those problems or those challenges or those issues that you have or those needs that you have. So by talking about them, being visible, talking about them, saying what it is, you will find solution to what you need. So please be visible.
Thank you so much, Itoro. Ibukun?
Yes.
Just 1 minute.
So there's strength in collaboration. There's strength in diversity. For me, I embrace diversity. From us as a business, is a key strength that we always leverage on. And depends on the kind of collaboration as well too. If you collaborate with small companies, you help them to grow. You help them. You don't have to do everything all by yourself. Help them to collaborate. And you know what? It helps you to build your goodwill. Goodwill in business is extremely very, very important. It's an intangible asset that you just don't know who's watching. Good luck.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the panelists. We've learned secrets, we've learned challenging pitfalls and how to overcome those pitfalls. They have done excellently well. A round of applause for all of them. And so I'll leave it to the audience. I will take just three questions. Somebody help me with the microphone. 3 questions, and then tell us who you are directing the questions to amongst the speakers.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so you keep it very brief, straight to the point, and who are you directing it to, if there's anyone?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Uluwatamilore. Thank you to the panelists. I would just like to bring in a fresh perspective, and that is collaboration between organizations and educational institutions like universities. The Omniverse has brought you core members to the event, but how do you think about both small and large-scale organizations in Nigeria and Africa as a whole collaborating with educational institutions? The CEO of Allison mentioned in his talk yesterday that they were able to offer the services they offer for free at a low cost because they were able to make use of hands that were available to them. So how do you feel about collaborations between organizations and educational institutions like universities? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, but you didn't direct your question to any of the panelists, so I'll just choose one person to answer it. Itoro, you want to say something?
That's fine.
I think that it's very important to have collaboration between businesses, academia, research institutions, and educational institutions. Because by bringing them together, you bring the strengths of both sides. You know, like academic institutions, they have a lot of processes, and they go deep into some of this research. Innovators, they innovate very quickly. So by bringing them together, there's that complementarity we talked about, where you get those, you get amplified results there. And please, I think that's very important. Tomorrow we are having a research exchange between innovators, academia, researchers,
yes.
government, private industries, public industries, government. So I think it's something that we already think that is very important. And please join us there tomorrow.
Yeah, so
Daniel.
the truth is that most educational institutions are opening up for collaborations. For example, as I speak to you now, we have signed up the 4th university that we're working with to set up innovation hubs on in their campuses. And so what happens is that none of these partnerships are the same. They will always take the shape of whoever is the leader in the institution. So you need to also be flexible to know how to craft it and how to work it out.
Thank you
Okay,
very
so let's
much.
take
Just
the last question,
one,
please. The last question, yeah.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Paul Okoro from Warri here. I want to ask a question, please. What is the place of gentleman's agreement in business transaction or in collaboration? Why I'm asking this is this. I've had a case where somebody came to my hub, Warri Innovation Hub in Warri, and offered me to collaborate with me. They want to do a program. I said, okay. But at the point, I was skeptical about, oh, bring paper and make us sign. Because we're just having this conversation. And you said, Daniel mentioned something about trust. So I trust this individual to an extent, but I felt I made a mistake because if I had demanded I would sign everything at the very first conversation we had, maybe I would have got burnt. But now, the individual came to my hub, you know, people came to inspect the hub as his own, did everything, and when it was approved for the program to implement, he took the money, went somewhere else, and rent a different space. All right, so I feel like if I had put those documents in place before now, maybe I would have avoided that. But again, there's a part of me that feels like it's not every time somebody just comes and makes an offer and you say, let us sign documents. So I want to ask if it is relevant to have that trust, a gentleman's agreement with somebody before you get to the point of, you know, signing papers.
Okay, so I'll just give half a minute to Ezinne and Ibukun. Just half a minute, please, quickly.
Okay, so this is my personal experience with agreements, right? If you don't trust the person that you're dealing with, and you don't trust the person's integrity, then an agreement is not even relevant.
Yes.
Because guess what? Even when people sign agreements, they can still not follow through with what you guys have agreed. So how you tackle that, and this is what I do, right? I would always test you. I would always test you. If we're talking about a huge project, I will find something to test you for your character and how you behave in that small test, right? And that's going to, most likely than not, give me an indicator to your personality. Yes, it's very important to have something in writing, but in this part of the world, people don't even honor agreements anyways. So it's really about the character of the person that you're dealing with. Are you able to also stick to your side of the agreement, right?
Thank you
And
so
that is
much.
very important. So
Thank
always
you.
find a way to test.
Thank you, Ezinne. Ibukun, half a minute, please.
Okay, so for me, I think people's interests change along the line.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just life. So for me, to want to trust you, I must have a relationship with you.
Absolutely.
But at times I can take you on face value. And you know, well, so having a proper agreement in place, it just protects the two of you. It's no big deal, really. Just have it in place. And you know what? People respect agreement. No matter what, even if you walk away, once the agreement signed, people behave.
Thank you, Ibukun. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for my panelists. They've done excellently well, and thank you so much.